My lampshade looks crooked here. Looks like it's crooked for some reason. Right? All right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say it is a lovely evening in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and will rest therein. Sister Deborah just coming with a nah, I'm not going to say if it's short, but with a little something, something. Let's put it like that. And the title of this video is It Is Not Good. It is not good. Okay. We left off yesterday, and I don't know what happened. I mean, it has happened several times where I just get totally cut off. And this time, there's really no excuse because I decided to switch the Wi Fi to a better and a faster Wi Fi and a more clear. And I don't know what's going on. I'm paying dear for it. I don't get what is actually taking place. It might be something behind the scene. Let's put it like that. But I'm not going to worry about it. But I will say this topic, this message is it is not good. It is not good. I remember speaking several times, and I have in time past, and I have lately spoken of uh, the mystery of how the Most High will send you signs in this book. Okay. And these signs in which He reveals unto you, they are signs in which you would think it was something man has done. But the only reason why you know it was out of the hand of man is because 99.20 million don't even pay attention to the little mystery that's there, that's put there. When he said it would, if it was so, it would fool the very elect. And reason why I can't fool the very elect is because it's many things he has taught the elects, okay? And it's many things he has molded within them that they are not taken by what people are teaching, what people are preaching, and how people are deceiving many. And with that being said, there are words. I can read a chapter, I can read a verse, and I can like chime in on words that slant. And that word that's slanted really is telling you something. It's not slanted and in the book for no reason. You see? So what I have learned throughout my time reading the Bible and being up under the Ruach HaKodesh as a student is that those words, and many people even to today, even if they found out that those slanted words has mystery, it wouldn't fade. It wouldn't mean anything to them because they still at where they at and where they going to be. And like he says, only few shall find their end because it's a many of us that's out here thinking we got it, we know it, we can nail it, we can understand it, and you're a long ways from home. So I'm going to speak on this topic. It is not good. It is not good. And that's pretty much where we kind of left off yesterday. But I feel in my spirit that we need to discuss that. Hello, everyone in the live chat. It's good to see you. And we're going to cover some of that. And we're not going to be long tonight. And I'm sorry I didn't make it at 7. I was trying to make it back home so that I can make it to the live, and I made it past 7:30. But I apologize for not coming on at 7 p.m. Central. I want to start off in Genesis. There are many times, many videos I have upload regarding staying in the book of Genesis. If you stay in the book of Genesis, you should never be hungry for the word of the Most High Yah. Because Genesis kind of paint the picture, okay, of the beginning to the end. And a lot of times you're not just going to be able to just get into Genesis and read it and say, I got it. Okay. Or I can precept it. I can line it. I can little here. I can do this and I can do that. A lot of times you're just not going to get the fullness that rests therein. Okay. In Genesis, it sends a message to us. It's the same message in which the Most High had suffered Yeshua HaMashiach, which the world calls Jesus Christ, to Yeshua being the lamb, the blood that was slaughtered. He was the sacrifice. And Christ, which is HaMashiach, being the power that held him up throughout it all. Okay. So they worked one mission in the Father. Okay. They was both working the mission in which the Father had assigned. Okay. Even though the HaMashiach, which is Christ, is the Father's right hand. But I want you to understand, in Genesis, you hear something and you hear it and you hear it and you hear it, and then you wonder what happened where it was not good. I mean, it just didn't. And it's something for you all to let's talk about it. Let's see what you all can kind of understand about it, or if you have any insight. In Genesis, we're going to start with Genesis chapter 1, verse 4. And Ahiah saw the light, that it was good. That's all I want to cover. Ahiah, Genesis chapter 1, verse 4. Ahiah, let's say Yah. Yah saw the light, that it was good. That was after he created, okay? He created the light. And after he created, he saw that it was good. Okay. Now, when you go to Genesis chapter 10, okay, in Genesis chapter 10, it says, and Yah called dry land earth, and he gathered together of the water called he sea. So he gathered the dry land and he called it the earth. And he gathered together the waters and he called it sea. Okay. And Yah saw, once he was done with the land, which was earth, and the sea, it says, Yah saw that it was good. Okay, we're still in Genesis chapter 1. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 1. We're going to stay in 1, verse 12. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass and herbs yielding seeds after his kind, and the tree yield fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Yah saw that it was good. I want y'all to understand something. The word that Yah is trying to get us to see is it was good. I saw it and it was good. I saw it and it was good. Now we go down to 18th verse of Genesis chapter 1. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Yah saw that it was good. There it is again. He saw that it was good. Now you get to 21. We in Genesis chapter 1, verse 21. And Yah created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the water brought forth. Oh, my Bible is tore out. Abundantly, I think that's what it says, after their kind. And see here, y'all, it's torn out. After their kind, and they brought forth, and what he said, the part that's torn out, wings, winged fowls after his kind. And Yah saw that it was good. Okay. We got this creator creating things. And one thing he's saying after he has completed it, that it was good. Okay. Now you go to verse 25. We still in Genesis chapter 1, verse 25. And Yah made beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Yah saw that it was good. Okay. Now let's go to Genesis. We finna switch over to Genesis chapter 2, verse 17. No, we're going to go verse 18. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. Now, the Most High had formed man. Okay? He had formed man. And he has placed him in the garden. And in the garden, he also spent time giving Adam instructions and directions. Let's say that again. Instructions and directions. Yah always wanted us to understand spirit and truth. Spirit and truth about instructions and direction is what Yah calls it. Man calls it commandments and law. Commandment and law and commandment is simply instructions and directions from the heaven. That's what he gave Adam. Okay. In 18, chapter 2 of Genesis, verse 18. And Yah said, it is not good that man shall be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. What happened in between that time where everything he created and the way it was, the light being what it was when he created it, he saw that it was good. What happened when he created Adam and he placed him in the garden and he gave him the commandments, what men today call, and women call, commandments and law? Y'all call it instructions and directions. Don't it sound more sweeter? Don't it sound more simple? It sounds more simple. He gave you directions and instructions. Okay. That's what he gave Adam. Okay. And then he began to tell him about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Thou shalt not eat of it. He also told him if he ate of it, the consequences. Okay. He also told him what he could eat, you know. So he gave him a lot of instructions. And this was the first direction and instruction, which is a commandment and a commandment and the law. He gave it to Adam. What happened in 18 where Yah said, it is not good. After all this time, creating everything and it was good. But when he looked at man, something, and it didn't become not good until, Deborah, you're going to get yourself in some trouble. It didn't become not good until he had created man, formed him, made the rivers and all the what was it, the stones and everything was created. Everything was created. Okay. And then he placed him in the garden, giving him the instructions and direction. Somewhere along the line, when he looked and saw that, wait a minute, it is not good. Listen to this. That man shall be alone. It is not good that man should be alone. Man wasn't alone. If you would have made her with him, he would have been alone. So what took place that caused him a higher to say, it is not good? What? How did it become not good? I can see if he created man. Let me say that example, y'all. I can see if he created man and he said, okay, I'm finished with him, but it is not good that he should be created alone, or it is not good that he should be alone. But no, he created everything. He gave Adam the law and the commandment, which is instructions and directions before he even created woman. So what happened to where it now what he could see wasn't good? That is such a valid point for men and women to do their search. And when they do their search, then they ask the Holy Spirit to reveal to them. Because even in the midst of that, it's something missing there. There's something missing. You got this creator creating everything. At any time, he could have created her and him together. Many would say, well, okay, she was in him. When if she was in him, when he created man, okay, like Adam said, bone of my bones. He didn't take your bones. That's a lie. Do y'all get how man has went into the first and second and third book before sin came, and something was going on before Eve was speaking to the serpent. Something had taken place already, y'all. Listen to this. When he said, it is not good for man to be alone, then what did it say? He would make him a helpmeet. But then 19 say, and out of the ground, Yah formed every beast of the field. Wait a minute. Don't he need some help? You get ready to create all these animals, and don't he need some help? Don't he need some help? Now watch this here. Verse 19. Out of the ground, Yah formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. Now, wait a minute now. Then you just said it ain't good that he be alone. He need a help me. Well, didn't he need some help here? You get what I'm saying? No, no, he didn't need help here because he didn't form her. Right after he said it's not good that man should be alone, I would make him a help meet for him. Okay. And verse 19, it tells you how he began to create and form the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And every living creature, he brought them to Adam. Eve wasn't there. Okay. But the point I'm trying to make is this here. How important it is for woman to be there for man. If Yah in the beginning of his creation saw everything he created and the way he created it, he saw it was good. But when he looked and saw man after he had given him instructions and direction toward the tree of life, then he began to see, wait a minute, this is not good that man should just be alone. Be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. You see? So, how is it today that same female that the Most High Yah saw that man needed it? Well, wait a minute, Father Yah, I got an issue here. You said, wait a minute, everything was good until you saw man alone. You said, wait a minute, this ain't good. So how is it the only thing that could make a man good in your eyes was woman? That's deep. You had given him everything. But what would make a man good after you said it is not good that he be alone was because you wanted him to have woman to walk with him according to the way you created them in the beginning. See, all this that's going on is demonic and wicked spirit between males and females. More so, 95% is males. Y'all can say what you want and think what you want. Read Isaiah 3:25 and see why the daughters of Zion was being purged by Yah. Not destroyed, not killed, but purged. When time hit, when it got to the point where it was time to kick up against bricks, he said, call for the daughters of Zion. Moan and what did he say? Moan and pray. I think not pray, but he said moan. Yeah, I think it was pray. Why? Wait a minute, hold up. What's wrong with the men? See, we have lost our place, and we're not able to get it back. We can't even go back to pick it up and get it right. But when you look at the first book, y'all got to understand where I'm coming from. The first and second book was before sin was said to have hit the earth. Y'all don't get it, do you? So therefore, even though sin had not hit the earth, why is it Yah saying it is not good that man be alone? Man didn't have to be alone if you would have made woman and man at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't get it, do you? So what happened is, throughout everything he said, it was good. He said something else with it. He said He saw it was good. He saw it was good. Genesis chapter 1, verse 4. I saw it was good. Genesis chapter 1, verse 10. I saw it was good. Genesis chapter 1, verse 12. I saw it was good. Genesis chapter 18. I saw that it was good. Genesis chapter 1 verse 21. I saw that it was good. Genesis chapter 1, verse 25. I saw that it was good. Oh, Genesis 2 and 17 and 18. No, Genesis 2, verse 18. It is not good. Why? Because he saw something, y'all. He saw something that made it not good. He could have said, when he created man and he began to take him and put him in the Garden of Eve to dress it and all of that, why didn't you see him as not good and being alone? You had given him everything, and you didn't need her to help him in that. You placed him dead in the middle. You gave him the first instructions and direction, which was the first commandment and the law. But it was something that went on that where you saw that, wait a minute, it is not good that man shall be alone. And I like to say to you all today, in the year of 2022, you see this stupidity in how these males are cutting up from the floor. We now can actually say, wait a minute, while y'all cutting up from the floor, before sin even hit the earth, y'all said that it was not good that you do anything alone because you needed her. That means they always need you. Why? Because y'all saw that it was good that man could not complete the mission in which he created him for alone. He needed to be completed. And that's why y'all only took one rib. Adam said, listen, bone of my bones. He only took one of your bones. Okay? And then Adam said, flesh of my flesh. I know. Somewhere along the line, they could probably go get more books to add on to it. No, it wasn't your flesh. If we let him keep talking, he gonna say, breath of my breath. You see? But see, I will call her woman because he was the one that was naming everything. So it was what Yah gave him, the purpose of naming everything, and that's why he was able to name her woman. He said because she came out of him. You see? Now, out of him was a rib. Tell me what man can have a child with just his rib? Come on now. Can a man have a child with his rib? That leads you to understand that Eve was not Adam's bloodline. Why did you say that, Deborah? Because that would have been incest. He will be having children by his daughter. You see, y'all? So that can't be. She was not created out of him. They switched a higher word to fit their narrative. Their newfound religion caused the Hebrew Israelite awakening. Just like they tried to do with Mary. They didn't screw that up so many million ways everybody calling it everything. She was a slut. She was a Jezebel. She was a whore. That if you let me in category her, she was all that and some. Even to today, they see her talking about who she is and what she was, what she wasn't. That's nasty toward Mary. Mary got it hard too now. She had it hard even to today. The understanding of males, even regarding to Mary. Oh, she wasn't a virgin. Oh, she had already had sex. All this stuff. That's how sick their minds are. That's how sick their minds are. So if you go back to Genesis, the beginning, before sin had even hit, listen to Adam. Bone of my bones. She only was taking one. He only took his rib. That's it. Then he said, flesh of my flesh. No, baby, she is not of your flesh. She was formed just as you were by the Most High Yah. Only thing different, the Most High knocked your tail out and went and took out of you a rib, gave her a rib. So it is something about that rib that shows you that it's something they have to work together in from the beginning and the end. So that's why he turned around and said, now listen to this. He even turned around and said that after the sin had hit, that they become one. You see, they are to become one. A man is to leave his mother and his father, and he should cleave to his wife. Now, is Eve his wife if she is bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh? No. She was a rib that, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. That rib was really meant for men to consider it and look at it very thorough. It's a mystery in it. Instead, they brought out stupidity. You see? Even when that says man was not created for woman, but woman for man. Man was not created for woman, but woman for man. Y'all, this is where you see male chauvinists. You see a very high level of whoever went in and started smearing spirit and truth. They smeared it to make men look good from the beginning. But guess what? Before they had the ability to smear it and make it look good, y'all wanted us to know at the beginning, before sin hit, look at the way I designed it. And just because they took it and did it their way does not mean that I don't stand on what I said before that sin hit. See, that's what we did. We kicked off Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. And we start living into what happened after the sin. That's all people focus on. But if you go back to the beginning where everything started, you'll see a whole lot of things of what's going on today and where exactly it started. Why did you ever think that, why did he destroy the whole world after he just started in the first book of Genesis? Why would he do that? He said their imagination. That's how showing you how fast and quick they decided to go on the wicked end. That's just what it showed you. But if you want to come back and you look at Genesis, you can see the smears. You can see the smears. Because if you pay attention to the Ruach HaKodesh teaching you and you shut up and listen, you will see the errors. Flesh of my flesh? Come on now. When you going to have your sister? Why would y'all create it and then have that as to something in Leviticus 18 and Leviticus 19 telling you all that is not acceptable? You know, involved with your family members and so on. In Leviticus 18 and Leviticus 19, that thing there, it tells you none of it's going to be accepted by the Most High Yah. Because why? Because a lot of them was doing just that. A lot of them got, when that sin hit, a lot of them was doing all kind of things. But the question still rests. After all the things he created, he saw that it was good. When he saw man in the garden, what was it that he saw that it was not good that he be alone? The fact that he was alone? Was that it? What was going on that he felt that he need a helpmeet? Because he saw it not being good. See, some people don't something, and the only reason, if you really look now, because in Genesis chapter 2, it's telling you in 17 about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eat it, thou shalt surely die. Okay? In verse 15, it said, Ahiah took man and put him in the garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. Okay, there. Ooh, that's a good one. Listen to this. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 15. And Yah took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. Why didn't Yah see that it was not good? Why didn't he say, I saw that it was not good then? You see? If you really pay attention to it, in 15, he's telling you how he put Adam in the garden to dress it. Wait a minute, he was alone? When you put him in there, he was alone. You didn't say it was not good until you had put the charge on him. 16, and Yah commanded man, saying, of the tree of the garden, thou mayest eat freely. Watch this here. That's the commandment. That's the instruction. But verse 17, but the tree of knowledge and good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for the day that thou eat it thereof, thou shalt truly die. Now, all of a sudden, Yah said, it is not good that man should be alone. Now, if man think for 1 minute that Yah created woman for him to satisfy his lust, to be used as cattle, to be used as a slave, to be submissive, to be controlled, that don't sound like the one that said, wait a minute, this man being here, listen to me, listen to this. The Father said, this man being here is not good, y'all. That's what he said. This is not good that he should be here alone. This is not good, y'all. This is not good. Come on here. We got to go get him a helpmeet. We got to get him somebody. You see? So we're along the line that the men mindset today has brought her the one that Yah said that man need to make it good. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So they lean toward something totally after, instead of going back and see, why was it not good that man would be alone? You put him in the garden and dress it. To dress it. You put him in the garden to keep it. You didn't see that it wasn't good until you start giving him commandments and laws. Then you realize, oh no, this man can't keep those. He can't keep it. It is not good. Let me give him somebody to help him. Y'all better wake up, women. You were never created for what they say you were created. Now, when you stop there, right there, Anything happened after that? When she was created, anything happened after that? Once they enter into the garden and start to tamper with the tree of good, of knowledge of good and evil, let me tell you, man had to have already tried the tree of good and of knowledge of good and evil. This Bible, just like, let me tell you something, just like if you are the Hebrew Israelites, how is it someone else is identified as you, and the wealthy of the wealthy, and the whole world supports them from A to Z? Are they who they are? Is it right? And everything in this Bible telling them, no, you're not. But is it changing what you see? Is it changing just because it's here? Is it changing the four corners of the whole world and all these bishops and pastors and teachers and priests see them to be, even though this book identified that they are not it? The whole world has taken everything they done read in here and switched it and living it for thousands of years, and nobody saying a word. So now, this is how easy it is for our men to try to bring us to the law of the law. It's because the whole world been lying, even though they know the truth is in here. They know it's in here. They know who you are. They know who are the true people. But they've been living in thousands of years a lie. They know, not thousands, but 400 years they've been living a lie, knowing that they are not. And the whole wide world support them, being the children. So how is it that we escape something as small as this? Because this is before sin. And everything happened after sin. That's what we run after. That's what we run after. We don't go back and say, wait a minute now. This is the law he set. This is what he said before sin came on. Let me get in here and read what he said before sin hit the earth. Let's see what he said. No, y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to go from the time sin hit and press on that way. But see, you got to go back and see. And that right there alone, it is not good that man shall be alone. That means from A to Z, as long as earth here, y'all saw that it wasn't good. Let me say that again. Oh boy, that sounds, you know what's so sad about that? That sounds so simple. That sounds so plain. The creator of all things saw that it wasn't good for males, for men to even be on the earth without a woman. Oh, that is so beautiful, y'all. That is so beautiful. See, and what they did is, after that, you can hear Adam boosting and proud minding. Watch this here. And he took the rib and taking it from man and made he a woman and brought her unto him. He brought her to him after he had designed all her organs and everything in her, formed her with the clay. Why is Adam calling her flesh of his flesh? You see what I'm saying? Listen to this. Verse 22, Genesis chapter 2 and verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. Where he get that from? Now you all This is what I'm saying to you all. Something took place before the serpent tempted Eve. Who told him that she was his flesh, of his flesh? He was molded from the clay, the ground. Why would he take your flesh and create her and bring her to you? That'd be like you having your own self. You see what I'm saying, y'all? That'd be like you coming into one with your daughter. Come on now, y'all, get to reality. Just think of that. How could that be? How could she be your flesh or your flesh? I'm just trying to show y'all I'm gonna show you what I'm saying. From the time he set the law and the instructions and direction, which everyone called the law and the commandments. That's okay. The moment he set that and told him about the Garden of Eden and what he could eat and what he could not, and what knowledge of good and evil would do, then all of a sudden he saw that it wasn't good that man be in the midst of this stuff alone. You see? So how did the minds of men go over here and say she was having sex with the serpent? She was this and she was that and she was this here shows you how males have overstepped their boundaries way back in the beginning. Even to the point where they're sitting here, Adam, and had it as if Adam said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." You see? A rib, y'all. Tell me who can create. Tell me if your husband can take his rib and have a baby. I'm just showing y'all how this sick mind of males have created this whole world and caused it to be the way that it is. This didn't have nothing to do with no female. This thing was going on way before. And they turned everything. Because when I used to wonder, why would they say, he said, woman was created not for man, but for woman was created for man, and man not for woman. Now, how are you going to make it sound like that when he said he needed something to help him? He didn't say that she was creating him. Only reason why he created her was for his pleasure. No, it was to help meet him. How? Because when he has the sperms, which are the eggs that carries the light, and the light is a spirit. It's not it is the spirit that he breathed in us. Okay? The spirits in these lights. I don't know if you ever looked at sperms in in science or anything where you can see them. They swarming all over the place. Look like they got a little light on it. The truth of it is, he was coming, she was making it so he can help meet him. To bring in life. You see how simple that is? He wasn't just making woman. He wasn't just making her just for his pleasure. Because if that was the case, if it was just for his pleasure, then he wasn't concerning about his life coming forth. You see, he was trying to give him something to bring those sperms to the egg, so so life can be produced. You see, so she can birth life. So it was a reason why he called it meet. They're going to meet and bring things forth. That's what it was about. Because he didn't have her created to help him name all these animals and do all that. Looked like that was a job. Looked like he would have created her during that time so she can help him name them. But see, that's where you know it's deeper than help, working and laboring. And no, baby. It's deeper than that. And because men has such a sick mind, sick heart, and they want to teach this thing in a sick way. This is why the world is as sick as it is today. That's why y'all said, Deborah, I didn't tell them they foremothers. I've been telling them that ever since Genesis. I'm not talking to you. But no, anything the men tell them, they agree with it. Anything the men say, they running behind them. Oh, yes, it's what he said because it says it here. Without the Ruach HaKodesh, you can't understand this book because the Ruach is coming to bring the light so you can see what is being said. Because there's a lot of things in it that need to be divided, y'all. A lot of things, you have to take the things which is spirit and truth out of this. But the only one can show you that is the Ruach HaKodesh. Because while they sitting here talking, I already see look like some lies. I already see some lies. Because it wasn't no flesh that he created her out of him. He told you he took a rib. What happened that he gonna wake up and say, bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh? Wait a minute. Hold up. Then therefore you having your daughter. You get it? That's why you have to be careful in saying that you have the Ruach HaKodesh and you don't know spirit of truth. See, all was good. Even when he placed Adam into the garden to dress it, when he placed Adam, and then he told him the tree of life, and then when he tell him the tree of knowledge of good and evil, then all of a sudden, wait a minute, it is not good. You see? It wasn't when she stepped into a conversation with someone who was feeding her here. It was when something had already taken place. Because if you really think about it, why couldn't Eve just say what it said here that he said to Adam? How did Eve change what Yah said to Adam and said he said not to touch? Where'd she get that from? Is that not a lie? And that's before she had fully accepted the conversation from the serpent. Why did she say, and Yah said that we are not to not, and I'm going to show you, this is what I was telling y'all about how the Ruach will teach you. He'll show you exactly what an error is at. And she said, and the woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah has said. How do you know, Eve? You wasn't there. Eve, you wasn't there. So how are you saying to the serpent as if you were there when Yah gave Adam the charge? And he was saying it to you and him. No, they can't even paint that picture that pretty. You wasn't there. And want me to tell you why she wasn't there? Let's go. Verse 3. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah has said, ye shall not eat of it. Now, if she would have stopped there, then that's it. I mean, Adam had warned her. Adam had told her. But who told her the next step? The next sentences with that. Neither, right there, it's the mystery, y'all. Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. He didn't say that. If you touch it, you're going to die. Y'all, come on now. Somebody in the live chat talk to me. He didn't say it. Where are you going to find y'all saying that? He didn't tell that to Adam. So if Adam was given the charge, who told this to Eve this way? Before she even sinned. A lie. Before she even entertained the serpent, a lie was spoken. And where did she get that lie? Only place she could get it from is the one it was directly told to. And he did not tell him not to touch it, or else he would die. He said not to eat of it. Why? Because it's when you eat of it, it was literally saying you're taking it in. It's not saying even directly eating. It's whatever you eat, you're taking it in. But if you touch it, you shouldn't die because you touched it. You see? So what is Eve talking about? What is Adam saying, flesh of my flesh? You see? This is where you get things happening and carries the whole mystery of what he said to me when I was a young girl and how he taught me first what took place before the foundation of the world. Because what took place before the foundation of the world clarified and identified and justified what's taking place here. It really does. It really does. Things had to start. And where it started is where it went wrong. Everything was good until he charged him about knowledge of good and evil. And then he said, oh, it's not good that man should be alone. Hey, we need that woman over here. Now, how is a person going to create you, place you somewhere to dress it, tell you what's good for you to eat, tell you what's good for you not to eat, and then turn around and say, oh, it's not good that you need to be here by yourself? Y'all don't get it, do you? Somebody in the live chat, come on, let's talk. So that's a good way of saying it. Maybe touching would tempt them to eat. Maybe touching it would tempt them to eat. When you go to the store and you see fresh fruit, you might pick it up, but you might put it back down if you saw that it was rotten or it was too soft. Touching it don't mean you have taken it in. Okay, that's one. But notice that the word touch, it was not, okay, so that's a good way of saying it. That's how spirit and truth have escaped, and no one is able to take in spirit and truth. Let me kind of expound on it. If the creator thought for 1 minute that touching that which was in the garden of knowledge of good and evil would cause Adam to sin, why did he put it in the midst of where Adam was? That if it was not meant for him to touch, but to eat, because putting it in the midst, he could see it. But touching it is different than taking it in. seeing it, we know that it wasn't really fruit. So I want to help you out a little bit there with that. Even maybe touching it would tempt them to eat. I'm trying to get you to see how they have went in and smeared words. And like I say, you would never get it unless the Holy Spirit is able to teach you it. Because if he was so afraid of him touching it, and it was touching it would include that it would get you to eat it, why wouldn't the Creator say, not only should you take it in, but don't touch? What you got to understand, hear me now, hear me now, hear me now. This didn't have nothing to do with touch. Touch wasn't even on the scene because it wasn't fruit that they ate. It wasn't something that you take in your mouth and eat. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't something that they could take and eat, and only way they can eat it if they touch. So touch is out of the question about to touch it. You have to touch it to eat it because they didn't eat. So it's not a real fruit is what they're speaking of. They're not talking about real, like a place where you can eat food. It's information. You see what I'm saying? It's information. She's entertaining wicked, and let's say Satan. She's entertaining him here. Everything's is here, babe. So they couldn't touch. Touch has nothing to do with entertaining them here. And I'm trying to understand, how is it that word came in on Eve? It didn't come in on Yah to tell Adam not to touch or he would die, but it came in on her being able to say, not only did he say not to eat, but he said not to touch. Come on now. Come on now. Because this really wasn't fruit. It was being tempted here. Okay? That's really what she was being tempted here. So touch has nothing to do with her being tempted here. You see? So her sin wasn't the sin that required her to touch. It was what she took in here. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. You see? So even touch doesn't fit. I think I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying. Touch doesn't even fit this book, period. It should never have been said. It should never have been said. And what happens is we paint so many pretty pictures that's how the Father said, they switched everything that I created this way, Deborah. They flipped it this way. And that's how it has been taught for thousands of years, to where you can't get someone to even switch it back, because he says finish. He said because they switched everything he said, not looking at the fact that everything was perfect. And in that stage of being perfect, why wasn't it so perfect to the point where if it was perfect, yeah, why was touch not included? Hallelujah. How is it you say nothing about touch, but they say touch and the world follow what they say and don't see that you didn't see it? You see how that's sad. That is so sad. That is really sad. And even when he said flesh of my flesh, why would we take on what Adam said and not take on what Yah did? Yah didn't say that, but Adam said it. See, that's why I was trying to get y'all to understand. Adam said, man is saying what Adam said. and not saying what Yah said. Because what Yah said, it was all perfect. But when you hear man saying it, it's not perfect, y'all. I'm trying to get y'all to see that. So what he said to me is, once he did everything he done, he said, and this is what he said to me now. That's why, Deborah, you kept seeing it was good. I saw it was good. I saw it was good. I saw it was good. But when man got on the scene, he did things that made me see that, wait a minute, this is not good. You see? See, that's what everybody don't understand. So something was going on with Adam before Eve had even before Eve, and see, another thing people don't understand. Eve, it is impossible. Let me say that again. It is impossible for this to happen. Listen to this. Verse 6, Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. This is impossible. Listen to this. And when woman saw that the tree was good for food, okay, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, okay, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her. The charge was given to the one because she wasn't created, but he was with her, and she turned around and fed it to him because he was right there. That doesn't make any sense. If it says it right here, listen to this. It says, the husband, her husband, with her. With her. So he was there during the same time. He was entertaining information the same time she was entertaining. But she believed it first. It almost looked as if he already had entertained it once before, because it was so easy for her to turn around and tell it to him, and he what? And he did eat of it. Come on now, y'all. A lot of them won't teach you that he was there with her while the serpent was entertaining the both of them. People don't get that. But see, the Father was saying this because no one wants to see everything he created and how good he said it was and how he had orchestrated it. No one looks that far and realize, when did it get out of order? They don't care. They just believe everything man teaches out of this book. And I said, well, Father, you did tell them to put their trust in no man. He said, Deborah, right here today, they put all their trust in man. And all I was saying to them, Deborah, this is what he said. All I was saying to them, Deborah, put your trust in no man. He said, you can trust the man with your car. You can trust him with $1 million in your bank. You can trust him with that. You can trust a man to run your whole house. You can trust a man to spend all your money. You can trust a man any way you want. I don't have no problems with that, Deborah. But when it comes down to spirit and truth, trust no man but the Ruach HaKodesh, because that's the only one gonna come and give you spirit and truth. We're talking in Genesis chapter 1 and 2. And how Yah saw everything good until he saw, after he placed man in the Garden of Eden, and he told him about the knowledge of good and evil. And then all of a sudden, it's not good that man should be alone. But don't forget, he the one created man. He could have created both of them at the same time, but he didn't. But he saw. It didn't even say he saw. He said it is not good. Now that's telling you all the way through his creation. It is. I saw it was good. 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 But wait a minute now. This is not good. That he should be alone. That right now, that right there should have woke up every man and every woman in the Hebrew Israelite. That verse right there. Why? Because it was at a point where everything was labeled as perfect. Everything after that, something took place. After that, because you hear stuff in there that you say, but wait a minute, he didn't say that. He didn't say don't touch. Flesh of your flesh. When he's told you in Genesis when he created them that it was your flesh. He didn't tell you that. Where is it that the Father said this is Adam's flesh? Where is it that he said I took a bone? It says that he took a bone. We don't even know if he took that bone. Let's see if he said that. I'm just trying to show you how man been running this thing. Woman didn't have nothing to do with this order. It says, Yah caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh instant thereof. So if he took a rib, where is Adam talking about? Flesh of my flesh. This is the pride-minded of who men were. When the Most High, which he ain't gonna do that. He's not gonna do that. Before he taught me anything, he made sure I understood what took place before the foundation of the world. Okay? Because knowing what took place before the foundation of the world give you a better insight of what I'm talking about right now. It gives me the right to be able to study this and see how the Ruach separate it, divide it from what has been added and what has been taken away, what has been smeared. That's why he said study, y'all. He says study to show yourself. He didn't tell you to study to show your mama. He didn't say you study to show your father. He didn't say you study to show your wife. He said study to show your husband. He said study to only show yourself approved. Rightly dividing the word of truth. That means something in this book got to be divided. 99.9 don't understand that. They think everything they read is what they see and believe. No, it's not. Because this thing is spirit and truth. It has to be taught by the Ruach HaKodesh so he can show you the insight. Only he himself knows what is spirit and truth in this book. And I thank him. So that's what I wanted to talk about because I'm going to tell you all. Okay, now one said, and a bone is flesh. It takes the same amount of faith to believe he created man out of the dust of the earth than it does that he caused a deep sleep to go on Adam. Now, the thing I hear in that, it says the same amount of faith. To me, just that alone, that was when it was perfect. That is easily understood. You see, because that's what I'm trying to say. There was a time period when everything was perfect and sinless. Okay? We have to consider that. That's why we're lost. Because even when he said, let us, we don't even know who that is. We don't even know the word let represents someone or something in Genesis chapter 1. The whole part, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's constantly saying let. 99.9 don't understand that. Only one can understand that is the Ruach HaKodesh, who he gives to those he said shall find their end. And he said only for few. Why? Because this thing is spirit and truth. It ain't not simply, like you can just get in it and read it. Oh, I got it. No, that's how everybody been learning it. And that's why everybody lost without a cause. Okay. Yep. He can take it and design it as he see fit. But we have to stick to when it was, how would I say it? And you got it. You got that part. Because the rib, that's the part. That's the part when there was no sin. Sin hadn't hit. Okay. Where you have to see where something took place before Eve even stepped on the scene and was entertained. Okay. You have to be able to see it in spirit and truth. And the spirit and truth is, to me, when I see it, and when I'm seeing it, I see it clear. I don't see it like, oh, I don't see it. I see it very clear because the rib is representing something far-fetched than Eve being his rib. It's something it's far-fetched than the rib itself. You know what I'm saying? Because no way did he created her from his bloodline, because it does not serve the purpose for him to give him his own bloodline to have Cain and Abel, which he didn't even have Abel, but to have Cain. It's just like he having his own daughter. If they got the same DNA, you don't get it. See, that's why I was saying, because man has taken this book and has smeared it and taught it in a way, it's hard for us to come and be able to see it the way he had created it in his perfect will, in his perfect way. Now, after that, anything goes. And that's what we messed up from the floor, because we think when we read after Genesis and we read all that, oh, that's what he said. That's what he said. No. Sin is on the scene now. Sin is on the scene. And if it's on the scene, it's also been said by even those who have went in and also added and took away. Because he wouldn't have said not to add and not to take away if he did not know that they would. How many times did Yeshua tell them, tell no man, don't go tell him, don't say nothing? Soon as he said it, what did they do? They went and spilled it. They went and told it. It's what I'm saying. Sin came in on the scene, and it alone brought everything out of Yah's order. Out of his order. Let's say it like that. When he said left, somewhere in this Bible is saying right. He said up, the Bible is saying down. It's so much smeared to where you won't know the truth until the Ruach HaKodesh come and give it to you. That's it. You're right. Yeah, I read that. Didn't even know it. It's so much of it. And then you go in there, you see him saying mystery, and you're just like, well, wait a minute. And then he tell one to close it up until a certain time. See, people think they know him from head to toe, and you don't. I have said in in the 4 years I've been on here, I give and take. When it come down to this book, I give you 20. That's about all I know. 20. That's it. I don't know it all. And I'm not going to claim I know it all, because to say I know it all is saying some man on this earth then taught me this book. Here today, everybody put all their trust in their pastors, their leaders, the priests, the Moors, the watchmen. They put all their trust in them. And something he said not to do. Why? Because he knew he was sending the Ruach HaKodesh, the true teacher. So he would teach you. That's why he said, study to show yourself. Don't go studying to show nobody. That's why, let me say something there. Leaders and people who are actually preaching and gotten congregation and got crowds, do you know they are not to go in here and master this book and teach it. They are to wait for the Ruach to teach it through them. Why? Because only the Ruach knows what is spirit and what is truth. The Ruach knows that this book holds a lot of things that man and went in here and they didn't smeared just to fit their a whole ideal of how they wanted the world to kind of consider them as being all that and some. And then you go back to Genesis, he's sitting here saying, well, wait a minute, Deborah, it wasn't good when I looked at and saw man alone. So if man was all that and some, as he has orchestrated the whole world, why would the Father say it is not good that he be alone? Because he knew that in according for him to fulfill what he said at the beginning, him and her, even though I created him first, I got to add her. Because that's what I said in the beginning, him and her. And this don't look good, him being here. That's what he's saying. It don't look good, he said. It don't look good, he said. See, you got to understand, during this time he said it don't look good. Sin is not on the earth, baby. Sin is not in him. So him saying it's not good, it's not good. We will make it good because we have stepped in after sin had hit and went K-wild, and we just believe anything anybody teach us without even having the Ruach HaKodesh. And we just believe it. We accept it and we believe it. But if you really look at it, it's some things going on up in here. Eve saying touch. I know they can justify why she said touch. Adam saying flesh of my flesh. They can turn flesh out of a rib. You won't find that nowhere on the face of the earth. You can't do it. Now you can take DNA, and let me explain something to you all. Blood from the DNA, it don't come from your rib. It's a place down below your backbone where your fresh blood is at, where your DNA is at. Okay? So we need to also do our study in trying to understand the rib in which the Most High Yah has taken out. Which rib was it? Okay? Because if we want to go deep into trying to justify and clarify and identify that she is Eve was taken out of him in a way that she was him, don't make no sense. I'm going to tell you another way they did it. I'm going to tell you another thing that they did a long time ago. And they did it, say, in the last 2 years. They said that Cain took all his sisters with him and had babies by him. That's what they said. Took Eve's children, which was his daughters, her daughters, and took them with him. And that's how Cain had established himself. But it was because he married and he had children by his sisters. Oh, they were saying that for a long time. But what you do is you're showing you how sick the mind of a male is and a female to believe that. As if he can't create anything after Adam and Eve. And that's why everybody looking stupid today, because they don't listen. And want me to show you how they looking stupid? Because now they finding out there was something else created outside of what you see on earth. Now they hooping and howling talking about aliens. Oh, well, see, y'all thought you knew everything. Learn to know who he is and what he's capable of doing. He can do whatever he wants and the way he wants it. He don't have to answer to our ways of feeling. We understand it as long as we can understand it here in our flesh. No, baby, this thing is spirit and truth. No, he cut that out in Noah. When he saw that's going out, and that's why I just can't. Everything men have done has been destructive and evil and wicked. Men. Okay. Genesis 6. In Genesis 6, he said, this is what they also have fed people. And it came to pass, Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass when men, okay, no, he ain't talking to men. He talking to women. He talking to men and women, y'all. When he say men, he talking to both of them. When he saying M-E-N, oh, he talking to both of them. I'm a living witness, not a dead one. I have heard him tell me, shut up, Deborah, I'm not talking to you. When I'm talking to woman, I'm talking to woman. When I'm talking to men, I'm talking to men. And then he said, when I'm speaking to M-E-N, I'm speaking to M-E-N. When I'm speaking to W-O-M-E-N, I'm speaking to W-O-M-E-N. When I'm speaking to children, I'm talking to children. But I'm telling you, I'm talking to men. We women don't understand when we start to listen to the Ruach teach. He will separate us. He knows how to put us back together. And when he's talking to us, he knows how to separate us when he's talking to us. But see, what they have created is anytime it caused them to be pride-minded and boost and rule and lead and control, they want you to stand on the sideline, women. They want you to stand on the sideline. Only time you can come in is when they call you in. But Yah says, when I'm speaking to you, women, I'm speaking to you. And when I'm speaking to him, I'm speaking to him. Now listen to this. Genesis chapter 1. Now Genesis chapter 6. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass when males began to multiply on the face of the earth. Men multiplying. Men multiplying on the face of the earth. And the daughters were born unto them. How is it the daughters were being born to the men? You don't see woman in there nowhere, do you? She the one birthed them things. You see? He's showing you there, I'm talking about men. And I'm talking about their seeds, their daughters. Stand down, women. I'm not talking to you. See, that's how we get messed up. And this is why no one knows what really took place back in the days of Noah. And that's why he says in the New Testament, it's going to be like the days of Noah. He said that 3 times. You know why? It's because he wants us to really capture what really took place that caused him to end it. Will be like until when he's coming to end it in the end. Oh, we ain't got sense to see that because we've been taught what it said. Now listen to this. Now here it's talking strictly to men, and he's saying it. He's saying, and when the men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them. Now, who are these daughters? These are their seeds. These are the men's seeds. Back then, a lot of them were using those seeds to sell. For another man to get this seed, this daughter, he had to pay dearly to the father. So the father were having daughters, females. Now watch this here. That the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. You see that? First of all, what people don't understand, the sons of Yah are those that Yah dealt with. They saw the men having these daughters, and they got into the ideal. Listen to this, verse 2, that the sons of Yah saw the daughters daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them. See, they took them wives of all which they chose. Why? Because this is what was going on. Men taking these babies. Now, don't you think that these women was 18, these women was 16. They was them daughters, they were taking them, even some before they even came on their cycle. See, y'all know what was going on. Let me say, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can't get there until the Holy Spirit take you there. I'm gonna show you another example. I'm gonna show you two more examples of where I'm talking about. You don't go there, and you can't go there until the Ruach HaKodesh take you. Now, here he said, Genesis chapter 6, and they took them wives of all which they chose. He said, now, Deborah, I told her it's going to be like the days of Noah, marrying and giving in marriage. That's what you see today. This is what you call whoring. They are taking women out of lust and out of ways that it's wicked and evil. That's what they were doing. Taking as many as they please. Do you all think that they was taking them for what? You all don't understand that, do you? What will a creator come and create everything just to destroy it the next day? Something he saw and felt that was totally too ugly for him. He said, bam, I'm cutting it all out. Everything's going out. Now watch this here. And Yah said, my spirit shall not always strive with men. Now he's talking about the sons of men. He worked hard with them. He worked really hard with them. And he's telling you here, my spirit shall not always strive with them. The sons of man. Now the sons of man is what you would say men that's in the Hebrew Israelite movement, or in the church, or men that serving Yah. Y'all got to get it. Y'all got to get it. At least they say they are. They're supposed to represent. And he's sitting here telling you that these men saw really the sin of every other man and decided to go over here and start doing what they saw, because the daughters was being born like crazy. And back then, the daughters were being born to be, you had to pay for it. Okay, now watch this here. And the Most High said in verse 3, Genesis chapter 6 and verse 3, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. See? So when you see the Son of Man, it's the Son of Man that he was ministering to when Satan came around him when he was with Job. He was with the Son of Man. And Satan came in the midst, said, going to and fro. And he said, what's in a sense, what is he doing there in a sense? I'm going to and fro. He was with the Son of Man then. He always going to be among the Son of Men. He always. Now he's saying here that, look, my spirit ain't going to strive with them no more. It ain't going to strive with them. Yeah, they the Son of Men. They are the ones that I was working with, trying to get them to do my will, or to do this and to do that. But when them men begin to have all them daughters, hey, they seen what was going on. They said, shoot, everybody else doing it, I'm going to do it too. Now watch this here. And then the Most High said, and they not only spirit, my spirit dwelling in them, but they flesh too. So they want to follow their flesh. That's what took place in the days of Noah. Now watch this. Yet his days shall be 120 years. He even sealed the years of how long man could live. Now, it used to be a time where you could live a long time, but he just saying what they doing is off the chain, Deborah. What they doing is off the chain, Deborah. What they doing is off the chain. And then as I was studying that, it got deeper. It got scary to me. Now, it ain't gonna get scary to you. It got scary to me. Now, watch this. Then it says in verse 4, there were giants in the earth those days. Now, see, what the men tell you now, that was giants having sex with the daughters. That's what they tell you. No, those were men like Every other man, except they were men that Yah was dealing with. His spirit was striving with them. And they decide to go on that deep end, having all them wives. That's why he says it's going to be like the days of Noah, marrying and giving in marriage. That is not of Yah. He's telling you then in the New Testament, that is not of me, Deborah. I said it's going to be like the days of Noah. And the reason why I said the days of Noah, I came up and I cleared that thing out. I got rid of them all. So if he's warning us that it's going to be like the days of Noah, why are we taking this lightly that, oh, it's okay, what all we doing is polygamy and all this whole crap we doing, it's all okay, as if he ain't warning us that's going to be like that. He's not only saying it's going to be like that, he's saying, and I'm going to destroy it like that too. How you like that? I'm going to destroy it like that too. How you like that? No, it ain't going to be by water, but I'm going to take it out. And how you like that? Now watch this here. Now, in 4, he's talking about the giants in those days. And also after that, when the sons of Yah came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. And the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Now, watch this here. And Yah saw what Yah saw. Men today wouldn't dare look at. That's why I said, don't come teaching me. What Yah sees and saw, we today won't even look at it. We won't consider what he saw. But yet he's still warning us. It's going to be like the days of Noah. What did you see? What did you see, y'all? I want to hear what you see. Okay, watch this here. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. And Yah saw that the wickedness of men were great in the earth, and that every imagination of their thoughts, of their heart was only good, okay, fair, perfect, no, evil, continual. Now just imagine if you evil and you continually evil. That's what he said. Verse 6, and it repent Yah that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. That's why I taught I spoke several videos of how we don't have nothing in us to understand how we can stand around and cause our creator to be grieved. And we don't have no problem with that. We're walking around here like it's okay. Want to be able to tell people what it is and don't have no spirit and truth in them, none whatsoever, to get to the core of the matter. Because we done been heard by man for so long, we can't see spirit and truth. All we can see is the message that man has darkened our minds to believe and receive. And we walking around here like we got it all. And we don't. Now, those were fallen angels. Now, who was the fallen angels? The sons of man, of the sons of Yah? The sons of Yah, those were the fallen angels. Okay, now who was the fallen angel? Who is the fallen angels? Where do you see that in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 to 5? Where do you see that the fallen angels were the one that was marrying, no, the sons of God? Where along the line did the fallen angels become the sons of God? I ain't talking about Enoch, baby. I ain't talking about Enoch. Enoch can't bring you to deliverance. Enoch won't walk you in the light. Enoch will not walk you into baptism of the Holy Spirit. Enoch can't take you nowhere. I want to hear where in the Bible, when he speaks of the sons of God being the fallen angels. And then I'm going to go and cut into what I was saying. What I'm saying is that's how the men got away with it again. Teaching us one way in which we can only understand and what we can accept. So that's why y'all say it's finished, Deborah. It's not, it don't matter what you say. How many of my prophets lost their lives telling people exactly identical 100 of what I said? And what happened to them? They were murdered because they was telling people spirit and truth. And it's like that. He said greater today than yesterday. We are so drilled, like in Deuteronomy 28. We're waiting for the promised land and haven't even realized that we first going to be destroyed here. He said until they are destroyed. He said about 8 times, along with other things said until they are crushed, until they have become mad. That mad mean here mentally. And we missed it. And we're going to continue to miss it. But you know what? How it's going to catch up with you? Keep living. And see if you're going to walk this word out like you've been taught it. See if you're going to walk this word the way you was taught it. You're going to be looking like the 10 virgins. 5 had and 5 didn't. They had the lamp, but they didn't have the oil. That's going back to spirit and truth. And the reason why I don't touch Enoch is because when the Ruach teaches and taught me before the foundation of the world and taught me what happened before the foundation of the world, it overrides anything Jasper, Enoch, and any of them can say, because he's telling me where it began and why he brought earth forth. When if Enoch gave you a word, why ain't you following it? That's what's so sad. If Enoch got such much, and that's why I was telling people even about the Torah. People want to tell you, y'all need to study Hebrew. Okay, study it. What have it brought you? Enoch. Study Enoch. Let that be for you. See if it can redeem you. See if it can it bring you to the light. See if it can bring you to salvation. See if it can tell you spirit and truth. Prophet Enoch was simply someone that Yah had instilled to tell, just like he did every prophet. Go tell them crazy people. And they didn't listen to him. They didn't listen to the prophets. And like he said, you have the prophets, you have Moses and the prophets. Anybody else? That's what's been leading you. A bunch of people who are not Moses nor the prophets. And that's why it's so much going on. And if people want to use other books, you go right ahead. The Ruach ain't going to go chasing all the books to bring them to your bosom. Say, see, this is what Enoch was telling y'all. Or this is what it says in Esther. All these other books. No, he ain't going to do that. He's spirit and truth. All truth is in him. What do he need with a book? What do the Ruach HaKodesh need with a book? When he is spirit and truth. How do you think you holding up your commandments? Now one of us is holding up no commandment in our nasty flesh. You know how you're holding up your commandments? Through the Ruach that rests within. He is the commandments. See, we keep forgetting. We didn't took our mind to our flesh. And that's where we let it rest. We don't understand this thing is bigger than man. When we run to Enoch and all these other books, we're running to man. We have always been a nation that always looked to idol something. Always look to see and believe. Always look to hear a man speak and believe. And that's where we have failed throughout time after time, even to today. There are millions of people get on this devil platform, YouTube and Facebook, looking for spirit and truth, and they are finding darkness. Why? Because they prefer to be on this devil platform While these people teach them and show them how many books that this one said and this one said and this one said, and none of them taking them to the altar of the Most High Yah. The Ruach is it. Didn't he say, I will teach you? I mean, why would, see, that's what I'm saying, we just do him wrong. We do him wrong even in our ignorance. He said, Yeshua said, I got to go, y'all. I got to go. He said, but I see to it that the Father send you the Comforter. Why? Because Yah had given him all authority. Yah had given him all power. So he had to go to extend, to go back so that the Father can send his Spirit down to us. To do what? To teach us some things, a little here and a little there, to teach us this. No, to teach us all things. Now, how will he teach us? Spirit and truth. He don't have to be justified. He don't have to be clarified. He don't have to be identified by no book that you read. Solomon told you much studying is a host of worrying, because he said ever they're gonna always bring up books. That's what Solomon was saying. He said that because man believed that if they could see it, read it, and hear another man tell them, then they got it. And that's why the great falling away have taken people from the Ruach HaKodesh. They didn't want the one that they couldn't see and believe. They want the one they can see and believe. They want to see Enoch say what it is. They don't want the Ruach HaKodesh. You think Yeshua disciples waited for Enoch? Tell me what disciple, epistle, tell me which one of them waited for the word of Enoch when the living word was living in them. That just shows you, going back to Genesis, ever since the Father says that sin hit the earth, they have went in the way of the sin and never thought. Let me go back to when it wasn't no sin, the first 2 chapters of Genesis, and it's much in there being revealed to us, but we don't want that. We don't want no part of it. We want to make our understanding be what we want it to be and say what we want it to say, because that's the way we were taught. That's the way we can only understand it. And that's why I say that the Most High said it is finished. Because Deborah, they think for 1 minute, I'm going to go back and break this thing down in Enoch and all these other books. If they thinking that, that's on them. If they ain't looking for my Ruach HaKodesh, yeah, they going to trust in every book that somebody bring them. And they going to believe in it. But I ain't coming through nobody's book. He said, and where would you see that in scriptures where I say, well, come on, come through the Ruach HaKodesh, it's going to teach you out of the books of others. No, he's a spirit, and he turned around and told you, you can only worship him in spirit and in truth. And that is not a book. That's why I said this here is only a guide. It has instructions and directions. It is things in here that is inspired by him. And only one can nail you to it. It's his Ruach HaKodesh. So then he turns around and he said to me, didn't I tell you, Deborah, the gate is narrow? I said, yes, Father, you did. He said, understand, very few shall find life, because life leads to the light, to righteousness, to spirit and truth, and eternal life. These people don't want that. They so eager to go into the broad gate because they want to see and believe. They want to read somebody's book and say, oh, that's it. That's what y'all said. Y'all been talking to us as a people since the beginning of time, and we ain't never heard him. How do you think he's able to prophesy to us and warn us that the gate to narrow that leads to life is separate from the gate that is broad that leads to destruction? How can he tell you hell has enlarged herself? How can he tell you if it was so, it will fool the very elect? How can he say these things if everything that everybody is saying is what they said and not what he said. We can't even worship him in this book. If we can't worship him in this book, what makes you think you can worship him in Enoch and any other book? When you're said and done, when you finish studying, these books are study guides. The true teacher is the Ruach HaKodesh. Now, who can teach better than that? And the only way he come is not through this book, y'all, but through spirit and through truth. He said, you can't worship me in your flesh. What do your flesh do? It can see natural. It can hear natural. He said, he that have an ear, let him hear. He's talking about spirit. So we still don't understand. That shows to me, it lets me have the fullness of why he said it is finished. Why should he continue? It has been thousands of years. Look how many years, 400 years, and we still as, I'm going to use the word ignorant, as we were when we first came across. Even when we was in our promised land, because he said that's where it started. Here we is 400 years. Still ain't figured out we still in the land of captivity past the 400 years. And they too ignorant to figure it out because you're still following man. You're still following books that man said that stand on taller than the Father. We, the house of Israel, have always since the beginning of time followed idols. That means they always wanted a God that they can idol. An individual that they can idol and worship. That's why when it was time for them to have all these churches, all these people running to the church, and that's where a lot of them were. A lot of them didn't close down. A lot of the churches have closed down. But everybody's looking everywhere. And guess what? The Ruach HaKodesh is still sitting in the bosom of the Most High God and say it's sad. He said, Deborah, it's finished. And I'm like, but wait a minute, hold up, Father. Yeah, what you mean it's finished? He said, it's finished. And then when he began to take me to the beginning and drag me down to the end, because you remember about 2 months ago, I was talking about Revelation. Oh, y'all, Revelation walking itself out. And guess what? I'm with him now. It is finished. It's finished. Because you cannot waste life anymore trying to get someone to see something they didn't see in 400 years, let alone 2,000 and 3,000 years. He's been begging us that long, thousands of years to get right. He sent all his prophets and they killed them. They didn't do right by. And he got them up out of here. And I don't blame them. They didn't come down here to stay a long time, y'all. Just like Yeshua. Didn't come to stay long. Because the sick minds of men and women are gone. And then he turned around. And I used to say it. But then when he showed me, he said, see, you be talking to these people in parables. You be nailing them to the wall with what I have already said. And they still can't get it. He said they can't even get the parables, let alone the word. Because the parables is set up so that you can get it. And when you get it, then you can get the word. There's some people who once they can hear and see, then they can get the word after that. But in this day and time, people so busy following man and trying to get what man say it is and how man say it is. He didn't tell us to search them books. He didn't tell us that's where we're going to find it. If he's sitting here telling me, Deborah, you ain't coming to me no other way but spirit. Don't come to my throne. Don't come to my throne in that flesh. You come in spirit. So how will I be able to take everything Enoch is saying at face value when I got to come before the throne of the Most High Yah in my spirit? Come on now. And I better not come just any old cocked way. I better come in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Because even Yeshua, I was telling you all about the beginning of Genesis, the word let. I was telling you all about when he said, let us. Here today, thousands and thousands of years then gone by. And they don't even understand what let was. They didn't even understand that love backwards is evil. Yah is give and gave. That's what he did from the beginning to the end. To the end, when he bring the new Jerusalem, what are you going to do? He's going to give us a new Jerusalem. He's going to give us a new heavens on earth. He's giving us to us. That's all he does is give and gave us. And that's what he wanted man to do. He can't do it. Woman, they can't do it. But they want to give people what somebody else is saying and then leave y'all out in the woods somewhere. I can't. He teach me from the wilderness. And the things that he have shown me, I wouldn't dare go to no man trying to tell and listen to what he said. I wouldn't even open up a book of Enoch for nothing. For what? 4 years old and he been talking to me since I was 4. Then I'm going to say, okay, I need to hear what Enoch say. I got to go find all the lost books. Tell me one person from Genesis to Revelation said that they had to go find books. You ain't going to find it. Because he ain't never told you to go look in there. Anything someone has to say to you is to encourage you in these books. 99.9 of every book you have read, it would never, ever lead you to salvation. It would never, ever lead you to the light. You see what I'm saying? Go back to every book you done read. Think now. See if it directs you to the light. See if it directs you to Yeshua HaMashiach and who they are. See if it directs you to spirit and truth. It won't. It's going to leave you where you at. And you go, oh, I know. It said this. It said this. It's a lost book. They said it's taken out. Y'all said, the reason why I said I would come and I would abide in you and teach you all things, because this earth been a lie since Genesis chapter 2. So why would he send all others to override him coming in us? Do that make any sense? What would be his purpose to live in us if others got something for us greater than him? Can't be done. Cannot be done. And that's going back even saying, but curses, but King James is written in English. Exactly. Listen to this. I'm going to show you how ignorant it is. All the lost books were still written by the heathens and set aside for you to go right what you're doing now and be as lost as you were when you first started this new awakening. You're still lost, okay? This don't have nothing to do with English. Oh, no. Oh, that's what he just said to me. He said, no, let me wrap that back up in you. First of all that I just said has not manifest in your thought pattern, okay? The reason why English does not affect me, the reason why your Hebrew, your Greek, and nothing you can say that affect me, I walk in spirit and truth. When Yah comes and he deal with me and he teach me in spirit and truth. That's why I can still stand here and say that this been smeared. It's because in spirit and truth, there are errors. But it's still a book, a guide that Yah can come in and show us things that he has inspired, that he held up. That's why slanted words is his power. Letting you know, read a little deep in that, that'll show you this. Man didn't know that he did that, but it was done. This book is the longest surviving. I ain't talking about King James. I'm talking about the 1611 and one of them. They have lived throughout. And how could it have lived so long and we be as ignorant today as we were yesterday? In the year of 2022, how could we be as ignorant today because that's where we at. And that's why our 400 years been up. We got to be lost here. We are lost here. And that's what he said. We are lost here. That's where we at. Go back to your Deuteronomy 28. Until you are destroyed. Until you are destroyed. Until you are destroyed. So if you're destroyed here, what can you tell anybody today outside of directing them to the light, which is spirit and truth, and to repent and trust, praise and honor and worship Yah? No one's going to honor your teaching. Nobody's going to worship your teaching. You can get on the devil platform and dance to every music that somebody plays on this devil platform. But the truth be told, you as lost as you were when your forefathers stepped a foot on. Now, I ain't gonna say that they was lost before they left in their stupidity, in their ignorance, before they even got over here. You see? What is it that where in it told you to go find all the books so that you may best understand? Come on now. You ain't gonna find it. You've been brainwashed. So when he said in Deuteronomy 28, until you destroy, you are fully destroyed. Now, being that destroyed with your eyes wide open, how do you think that the Ruach HaKodesh want to abide in you when you don't trust in his spirit, but you trust in Enoch and you trust in all the books that's lost? Sister Deborah ain't telling you I'm trusting in this. I'm trusting in he that I cannot see, but yet I believe. That's who I trust in. Now look at you talking about new versions and new all this. That stuff don't mean nothing to me. I'm speaking to you in spirit and truth. You speaking still worldly matters. There's a new King James, new versions, new tradition, new international, all that mess. It's just like it ain't no different than all these books that y'all said lost, and y'all trying to usher him to the throne of Yah. He ain't going for it. Because when you finish, let's say if there's 5 books that was taken out of King James Bible. Let's say that. If there's 5 books taken out of King James Bible, okay? How can you read into what all of those books are saying? Only thing you want to read into is that the heathen took them from you. That's all. That's all you want to do. Ain't nothing Enoch telling you that has to do with salvation. It's nothing Enoch is telling you regarding going to the light. Repent. Worship the Father in spirit and truth. Know that the fruit of the Spirit is spirit. These are spirit things. Enoch was telling you his experience with the Father. What has happened? I think I told you all this here once before. What has happened? We have kicked out from the beginning, like the Father said, everything he has ever said. And we honor the individual who played a role in the Bible. And that's where the great falling away is. It has fallen away from. Because he said they fell away from spirit and truth, Deborah. They fell away from me. They desire others over me. And because when the Hebrew Israelite movement had started all this cult and this fake awakening, when they usher all that in, they usher everything in outside of spirit and truth. Outside of leading the people to the bosom of the Most High Yah so he can pour out his spirit like the day of Pentecost. Oh, they don't lead. They wouldn't dare lead your butt to the like it was in the day of Pentecost. Oh, they don't lead you there because they got to get you where they at, so the great falling away can be fulfilled. And that's what they did. They did a really, really, really good job. an excellent job. Oh, somebody had to switch the laptop. The phone died out. I think what you're doing is, I don't think I hurt your feeling because the feeling is flesh. Okay. So that lets you know that you're, someone came on and you began to touch tag with the individual and what they were saying. So because I was addressing what they were saying, it's like a bowling ball. When you roll the ball, all the balls go down, you went down with it. So yes, you can go off. You see, that's why your feelings hurt, because I'm dressing the individual and you're jumping in with the individual. So I'm just addressing him, but her, which I think is a him. Since you are rolling your ball, I mean, you're standing with your pen next to him, trying to touch tag with him. I'm just knocking it down. Spirit is called spirit and truth. Okay. So yes, ma'am, leave the chat. Because if you're going to do it that way, when someone come in, the first thing, you're not going to convert what I'm saying by your conversation with someone who's not normally on here, but they coming in bringing their own hearsay. You see? Then when you jump in and go along with them, then you're really off the topic of what we even talking about. So now we were talking about what was going on in Genesis. You went on talking about Enoch and all that, and I'm trying to piece all this together. How did you get off of what we were talking about? And that what made me trying to address the individual, and end up you getting your feelings hurt because you trying to address the individual as well. So have a good night. But like I said, the only way Yah is going to deal with you is in spirit and in truth. Okay? Anything outside of that, he ain't got nothing to do with it. How dare we expect him to chase every book man said represent him when he is the book? That's just like people telling you, oh, you got to keep the commandments. You got to hold the commandments. Ain't nobody kept the commandments. The commandment is kept by the Ruach HaKodesh that's greater in you. He holds the commandments up in you. Give him praise and glory and honor. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. I had a wonderful and a great father and a wonderful mother. Okay? And to say this, throughout my life, I've talked to so many people regarding family problems and counseling them, marriage counseling, people who have problems with their children, and just all kind of issues. Okay, so with that being said, you find yourself trying to connect because it didn't happen in your household. A lot of things didn't happen in your household. A lot of things that people have gone through with their parents, I didn't go through, y'all. I didn't experience those things, okay? But I cannot sit and say that these things are not happening and these people are not experiencing. It is real as they say it is. Just because he had a hedge around me and my mother and father don't mean that it exclude me from being any different than nobody else. But one thing I can sure tell you, it's no way I'm going to come up out of spirit and truth, because he already let you know. You got to worship me only one way, and that's in spirit. And you got to best believe I am truth. So what other way must we come? Must we go run after books? And this is the sad part about it, y'all. This is what's really sad. Oh, this is so sad. As the spirit was dealing with me, he said, Deborah, have you noticed that the men turned in a different direction? And I was saying, this was about almost a year ago. And I was saying, but Father, I had 2 of them come to my store, and they traveling, teaching this new conscious thing. In this new conscious thing, they ain't gonna talk about no Enoch. They ain't gonna talk about all these other books today, Jasper and all these other books. They ain't gonna come nowhere near it because now they're in a different level. They don't deal with that stuff no more. See, it was one time everybody was Enoch and Torah and all of that. What happened? Y'all don't hear that no more like that. Guys on the corners and everything, they don't talk like they started off talking because they changed up, y'all. They didn't change stuff. And everybody who followed Enoch and all these other books, guess what they did? They turned around now. They doing a new conscious thing. I don't know what's the deal with the conscious thing. It makes a lot of sense what they saying, but none of it to me is spirit and truth. I still, I listen to them. That's when I said listen to them. When I meet them and I listen to what they're saying, and it's what it is. It sounds good to your flesh. Let's put it like that. But as they continue to talk, in your spirit, this is not of the Most High Yah. But you don't go battling in them that it's not of. You just have respect that this is where they decided to go. Because everyone that I've dealt with, every guy, and it's only been 3 that I've dealt with personally. I mean, where I met them, and they would go on and talk. We be on one accord until they start to begin to say they don't believe in the Bible anymore. They said it. All 3 of them said they was Hebrew Israelite at one time, but they now say that they no longer in that. This is showing you what Yah has said. It's finished. It's finished. And in Genesis, like he said, Deborah, don't forget, everything was perfect. You saw me say, I saw that it was good. I saw that it was good. Everything was perfect, Deborah. But sin, once that Garden of Eden, Garden of Eden, in the midst where knowledge of good and evil stepped in, that was it. It didn't take it to be when Eve was approached, because both of them was before. Eve just was doing talking. Adam was there too. He said they take it and they make the picture so different than what is spirit and truth. But you can't go there. Let's set another example. Let me give you another example. You remember in Gethsemane when Peter drew his sword and cut the soldier's ear off? When you see that happen like that, or when you see when they come after Yeshua HaMashiach and they say, we're here for Yeshua HaMashiach, and he said, I am, and they fell back. See, it's stuff in there that y'all don't see. It's stuff in there you can't feel, but you have to read it and let the Ruach show you how Yeshua froze the time, picked up the ear, placed it back on the soldier's ear, and turned to Peter and said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and told him to put it away. Why? Because his mission was for him within an hour. And that hour represent only the time that Yah called time was near. And he had to meet those obligations of the purpose of why he came. So he froze time, placed that ear back, and told Peter, you live by the sword, you die. Because when they went back, they had no idea when Peter was standing there warming his hands, and they said, weren't you with him? See, what happened? Didn't y'all see him cut the ear off? Go somewhere and cut somebody's ear off when somebody on this, they got Schaefer knives and all kind of Schaefers and all that type of stuff to fight with. And then on this end, somebody draw a sword. Oh, it's fighting time. What happened? They didn't fight. The Ruach told me I froze time to pick the ear up and place it back to where they never knew what had taken place. See, but you would never get that. Not a man on this earth would teach you that. You know why? They can't go that deep. Only Yah can take you there. I can speak it, and I can speak it all day. I can speak it for 400 years, and you still wouldn't get it. You know why? It's only given to those that Yah is suffering to have it. It's not given to everybody to receive it and to embrace it. You see? So me, myself, and every like when Peter denied him, that wasn't, people didn't understand. It was okay. We call it Alzheimer's. Okay, we call it a lot of things. When Peter was denying him, it wasn't that Peter wanted to deny him, but it was a curse put on him to deny him. That's why he got so frustrated. Peter got frustrated in the process of denying him because he realized that, oh, I couldn't stop from denying him. Why? Because the curse word that you deny him 3 times. You see? That's why he couldn't remember. He couldn't remember. When he was saying, no, that wasn't. Because he really couldn't remember. He wasn't a part of it. He was denying because actually the curse was that he could not remember it. And that's why he kept denying it. And that's where Peter denied him 3 times. And after the 3rd time, the curse was broke. And it brought back memories of what he told him. You would deny me 3 times. So what happens, Deborah? Now the Father had shown me how when he came back and Peter was on shore fishing and he poured up all the fish, upon the sea. And he sat with them and they had a fire. And he said to Peter, Peter, do thou love me? And Peter said, I love thee. And then he asked him again. He asked him 3 times. Why was y'all asking Peter 3 times? And then told him to feed my sheep, feed my lamb. Why was he saying that? He was breaking the guilt that was left from the curse of Peter denying him. See, y'all is so 100. He is so 100. But see, not a man on this earth can teach you that. He couldn't teach you that. Even though it's sitting right there. I'm going to set another example. Look at Deuteronomy 28. Why is it that the Hebrew Israelites, especially the men, have not brought the new awakening or the newfound, we the people, to the forefront that it constantly telling us in Deuteronomy 28, the end of it, that we will be destroyed? Why didn't they tell y'all that? Why didn't it? Why didn't they say that the Most High Yah said we will be destroyed? Because they only give you enough to cause you to feed into their direction. Someone says, you're right. Not all men. You're right. Yeah. And okay, now what you said here, Yah will, you can't force understanding. Now, it goes right back to what Yah has said, that the prophetess is to say unto you all, it is finished. If you think for 1 minute, now did not I say that at the beginning of this topic? I've been saying it all night. I've been saying it yesterday. I've been saying it last week. It is finished. He's not coming to teach you nothing. So you keep on sitting on the porch waiting for him to reveal and him to teach you something. You're going to be still sitting out there like you've been sitting the 400 years and then realize the 400 years is over. You're going to be sitting there. Because right now, where we at, we are only one place. One place. And that is in the corner. until we repent and worship and serve him, we're going to remain in great trouble, because it ain't no more. He's finished. He's finished with it. He's not coming to give you a new revelation. He's not coming. Revelation is walking itself up and down, and everybody just running like it ain't nothing. Oh, they doing this, and they doing this, and this was doing this, and they doing this. Oh, did you see what they gonna do here? Every time the devil put an album on this devil platform, Negroes begin to dance. They begin to run to every place they hear the devil album, and have not heard nothing, spirit and truth. But it ain't that it's gonna come their way. Finish mean finish. So mark the saying out of the prophetess mouth. If you think for 1 minute that you gonna come to a awakening and a new revelation, no, you ain't coming to nothing. It is finished. It is finished. Ain't nothing new coming to deliver you. Ain't nothing new gonna be spoken to you where you gonna understand you had 400 years and you passed the 400 years. And not now one of you want to go into spirit and truth. And when I say that, all of them that have been on my website, they know what I mean. Meaning, it don't mean all of everybody. It's just showing you a great number. It's just like the Most High said. Broad is the gate to destruction, and narrow is the way that leads to righteousness. What's the difference? One is many, and one is few. It's no different. It's the way people receive things after they've been manipulated and led to believe things. It's nothing that one can come to teach, Sister Deborah. I'm taught from the wilderness, okay? If Yah himself have not taught you from the wilderness what took place before the foundation of the world, a lot of you need to stand down and stop teaching, really. Because that's where it started. Not when earth was created, but before the foundation of the world. And you hear it. He's telling you all through the beginning of Genesis all the way to Revelation, telling you that something took place and telling you these things that took place before the foundation of the world. But did you think man gonna get it? No, they ain't gonna get it, because they want to believe what they can see. Because what they can see, then they feel they can understand. They don't want to receive spirit and truth, which is Yah himself. You can't see him, but he is real. He come to give you spirit conversation and truth. He ain't coming to give you no book that you're going to read and you're going to be able to know the deepness of who he is in you. If he can't abide in you and you in him, you can kick yourself to the curb. There's no place for you in him if you think that you got to be the one that make him who he is. He ain't going to rumble that way. He's not going to rumble that way. He's not going to run that way. He's just. And I'm going to say this again. That, now I see why it's important to follow behind what he's saying. He said that his judgment has hit the center of the earth. And he say that it's time to start judging the wicked. For so long have we not stood tall and firm toward all this evil and wicked. People who are portraying to be one thing, but is in sheep clothing, but yet they are wolves with much darkness. So the good thing about what he said is we don't have to continue to follow darkness. It is something that we're doing because of where we belong. We belong in the darkness. Because right now, if he's saying, Deborah, it's finished, he's saying that you can give them A to Z. You can get on this Deborah platform and they can see a light all around you. They can see me and know that they see me, but it don't matter, because where we are at is what was prophesied. The end of Deuteronomy said we're going to be destroyed. So there is things going on with us as a people. We are destroyed there, like the Bible says. So that's why when he comes, he's going to clean the filter. He's going to sprinkle water on it. He's going to give us a new heart. He's going to give us a new spirit. He's going to put his name in us. This is why he got to clean you. He got to do some cleanup, because he knows that his word was going to be fulfilled. I feel sad for a lot of people who cannot see that Deuteronomy speaks, probably about 8 or 9 times at the end, that until we are there to crush us here, our mind. So that's why we're seeing so much going on in our nation, destroying each other. That's why we're being crushed here. So the only place we have to go is in the corner where we at, because we are in the corner. And when you in the corner, you come out what? Fight. So y'all is saying, you in the corner, you better come out serving me now. I'm giving you no other choice but to call on me. I'm giving you no other choice but to serve me. I'm giving you no other choice but to worship me. I'm giving you no other choice but to praise me. Because you ain't got no other choice, Deborah. You're in the corner. It's finished. If you're thinking for 1 minute I'm coming to get you, I'm not. It's finished. He said, furthermore, that's why I gave you the endurance spirit, so you can endure until the end. Because it's finished. So if people want to chase information and thinking information is going to get them somewhere in this day and time, see you on the other side. See you on the other side. That's all I can say. I see you on the other side. Yep. And that's it. And I like that one. Hiding behind the religion. But you have to understand that they've been doing it for a long time. Because I want to share something. Say this here. What's really sad, Deuteronomy was way back in Torah. Father, y'all, forgive us. Forgive us, Father, y'all. Forgive us, Father, y'all. When I think of the way he revealed it to me, he said, Deborah, back in Torah, I gave them Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28 was back in Torah. He said, in Abraham, it was in Genesis, letting them know that they was going to come to a land that their fathers knew not of. I told Abraham. And I said, Father, but wait a minute. Here we are in the year 2022. He said, yeah. Same place. He said, the sad thing about it is, it has been thousands of years. So I want to tell y'all one thing. Your 400 years don't mean nothing. It's been thousands of years since he warned us of where we at today. So if it's been thousands and thousands of years, he began to say, did not you hear Isaiah, Deborah? Did not you hear Solomon, Deborah? Did not you hear Ezekiel? Did not you hear Jeremiah? He said, I've been sending mines over and over and over for thousands of years to warn these same people about Deuteronomy 28. And he said, here it is, Deborah. They waiting for me in the year of 2022 to give them a new revelation to fulfill something for them. Deborah is over. And that blesses me. Because being a prophetess in the wilderness, all these things he's showing me and he have shown me, it lets me know, hands up, Deborah, throw your hands up. Just totally submitted. Know that he says finish, it's finished. We can run around here and chase this devil platform, Facebook, YouTube, page, whatever we want. He says it's over. He gave us more than enough time. Today, not just this day, today is what? Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday? Not just this day, but I accepted the curse that he put upon us as a people. I salute the curse. I thank the Most High, a higher for the curse. I give him glory and honor for choosing such an excellent judgment upon us. For all those years, we still had it good. Why? Because in spite of it, he still poured out grace and mercy. And here we are today, still as lost as we was yesterday, even before we even got over here. Wow. That's how sad it is. That is sad. So when people come and say anything, they talking to a brick wall when you're talking to Sister Deborah. Why? I deal with the Father in spirit and in truth. 99.9 don't know what that is. Because they still don't know who Lot was in Genesis chapter 1. They still don't know who us was in Genesis chapter 1. They still don't know who the right hand and the stretched out arm is. They still don't know who his power is. Now that's those things in the beginning. And here we are in the year 2022, thousands of years later. And they as lost as they were yesterday come telling me about some Enoch and some other books that's lost. You can't tell me nothing. You've been lost all these thousands of years and you think Yah's son Enoch's and all these other books for us to learn what? We still lost without a cause because we still don't realize we up in the corner. We in the corner because we killing one another. We destroying one another. We murdering, we stealing, we beating, we destroying one another. And the heathen is destroying us as well. So we are destroyed. And I thank the Most High Yah for it. I thank him for Deuteronomy 28. And every curse he has suffered to come upon a people, us as a people. I ain't going to try to escape it. I ain't going to try to exclude myself, but I give him all praise and glory and honor. And I salute your judgment, Father, Yah. And I was in praise today. And in the midst of my prayer, I was praising him and just thanking him for his choice of judgment. Because I said, Father, you turned around and you cursed us and you judged us in the midst, but then you turned around and still poured out grace and mercy like syrup. Still poured out grace and mercy. And we still today as ignorant as we were yesterday, chasing everything outside his spirit. The only thing that we're going to have to come out of that corner with is spirit and truth. We got to start worshiping him. We got to start praising him. We got to start honoring him. We got to start serving him. One say, Sister Deborah, how must we serve? Give and gave. A lot of people people sit on this devil platform and talk about how, they changed the word Lord. They changed God. They changed this into Jesus, but they never saw a key word that was missing. And that key word was this. Let me show y'all something. I want to show you something. This word here. You see this word here? That was another word that was added. That word was added. And you can get 1 million people in a room, and every million out of a million of people, they have a different definition of what they feel love is. The number one commandment is give Yah all your heart, mind, spirit, and strength. What's the first word? Give. Where did he say, love me? Love is a word that was added in. And if you can see what love means, evo. Look at it again. Evo. That's what they took and placed. So we wouldn't know how to give and gave. But then they turned around and added charity. Charity is still a form of give and gave. They say that's the greatest. Now, what happened to love? They want to connect charity to love, but charity is actually give and gave. You see, that's the number one. Yah is give and gave. Well, why do you say that, Deborah? You can't say that to these people. You can't do that. Why not? In the beginning, what did he do? He gave us heaven and the earth. Everything he created and given and gave. You think? At the end, what he gonna do? He gonna give us a new Jerusalem. A new Jerusalem for us. Everything he has done had to do with give and gave. He gave us his only begotten. This is also showing you how this book has been smeared, but yet he says study it. He didn't say teach this. He says study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing. That word dividing means that you got to be able to read this and divide what is truth. And how can you do that? With his spirit. So I, Sister Deborah, would say that I appreciate everyone in the live chat, and I enjoyed everyone, and I hope you got something out of it. And like I say, I appreciate you all. And did anybody have any questions before we leave? Since we went into 2 hours and 37 seconds. Thank you. Now see how the individual is still talking about Greek and Hebrew. But what do you know in spirit and truth? Once you can know it in Greek and in Hebrew, that still don't mean that it's spirit and truth. The Ruach is spirit and truth. What do you know about what Yah is saying in Greek or in Hebrew? Go somewhere, sit down, and read your Greek and your Hebrew. Okay? And you know what? If you've been in this captivity for 400 years and you just awakening to learn Hebrew and Greek, how ignorant does that sound? Do you think Hebrew and Greek is going to save you? Shh. I salute you. Go for it. If you think your Greek and your Hebrew going to save you, deliver you, it's going to usher the Ruach HaKodesh in you. You good to go. Have a good night. Have a blessed night, TJ. Go learn a language. Since you think you got so much time, go learn your language so you can understand. He ain't never told you to go learn a language. He said the Ruach HaKodesh shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance. And you best bet. How can he teach you? You think it's about a book? No. Only way you can learn from him is spirit and in truth. Shalom and shalom. I see you all again tomorrow. I will be back. I praise the Most High Yah. Hallelujah. Ahaya, ahaya. Yes, yes, yes. All right, sister. Shalom and shalom.